Hi, this is Angie here at Abundant Acres Homestead, and today I'm going to be doing some peppers. Our pepper harvest has been doing really good, which isn't really too surprising. We've had a drought most of the year. We finally started getting some rain, finally. But with the drought and everything, our peppers have been very happy and producing very well. There's something about peppers, they like being stressed out or something, because anytime there's a tough year, the peppers just always do amazing. But anyway, doing peppers. Up until now, I've mainly been pickling them. The pickling recipe, I went over that kind of in the other video. Basically, it's just the same juice that I would pickle, you know, my relish and stuff in. I just use the same juice for the peppers. I've been freezing a lot of peppers as well, and I will be using them a lot for like my spaghetti sauce and salsas and stuff like that. And really all that I do is I get the seeds out, I cut them up into the sizes that I want, and then I just flash freeze them, which basically just means that I put them on a piece of cardboard, a cookie sheet, whatever, and I just put them on there, throw them in the freezer, let them freeze for a little bit, pull them out, and then I throw them in a bag. But today, what I'm going to be doing is dehydrating. All that I'm doing is just cutting them into small pieces. Some of the seeds are staying in there. I'm not really worried about the seeds. I got these on Amazon. They weren't very expensive, but they are amazing for the dehydrator because, like I said, I'm not pulling out the seeds. So I can throw seeds and all right on top of those trays and then put them in the dehydrator. That's what I'm doing with the red hot peppers. Next I'm gonna do these, and I'll go into that in just a minute. Another good thing you can do with your hot peppers is make some hot sauce. I made some last week. I didn't really particularly care for it because the recipe that I used called for sweetener. And so I did what I was supposed to, and I followed the recipe, and you know what? I don't like it. So, next round of hot sauce that I'm doing, I don't know, I might videotape that, but the next round of hot sauce, I ain't doing with sweetener. I don't care what the recipe says. The recipe doesn't do you any good if you don't like it. This round I'm doing a little bit different because I'm chopping these up into pieces. And the reason for that, and I don't want to keep all the seeds. Some of the seeds I don't mind, but I don't want to keep all seeds in there. The red pepper flakes, they're just going to be dehydrated and crushed into flakes anyway. These here, I actually want to dehydrate into this size so that it will be good for soups and stews. And if I dehydrate, it takes up less room. So, okay, here's a little tip. Because these have the holes in them, whatever you pour on top of it can just dump all down there. So I just like to put a little glass on there, and then I'll just put it in. And then I can just spread it around and I don't have to worry about it dumping down inside. Okay, I got 3 trays ready to go. I hate not having all of the trays going at once because to me it just seems like it's a big waste of time. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and probably just go ahead and cut the green peppers, and I'll just go ahead and dehydrate some of them too. But I'll use the bigger cutters for the green peppers just because I like them sliced a little bit thicker. Anything that I dehydrate, because obviously if you dehydrate it, when you go to cook it, you have to rehydrate it somehow. Now, once these are dehydrated, I could literally just put them in a jar with some water and they would rehydrate themselves. But what I like to do is to rehydrate them in some sort of sauce, whatever the sauce that I'm wanting to use. So, like if I was wanting to put this in spaghetti sauce, I would just go ahead and drop these in with the sauce while it's cooking, and then it kind of soaks up all of the goodness of the sauce as it's rehydrating. We just had chicken and noodles, and I had dehydrated carrots and dehydrated celery, and it works out perfect because, again, I'm cooking it in the sauce, so it just soaks it all up. Same for like dehydrated potatoes and carrots. Did that with a stew, and it sucked up all the stew meat goodness. Wonderful. So don't think dehydrating you're gonna lose a lot of flavor, because you might lose some of the flavor of like in this instance, I might be losing some of the flavor of the green pepper, but whatever I'm cooking it in, it will actually absorb the flavor. So are you losing the flavor, or are you just sucking all the goodness up? Guess it depends on how you want to see it. Dehydrating takes up a lot less space, even as far as like canning, because these 2 jars is going to take up this much room. I could have dehydrated those, and it probably would have taken up this much room in one of these jars, if that. Although they do have really expensive dehydrators, I just got the regular old Presto dehydrator. You can get those at Walmart. They're not very expensive. Okay, so I've got a tray of green peppers, 2 trays of the hot Hungarian wax, and the bottom one is the hot red peppers. So now I just plug it in and I'll let it go, and I'll show you the difference. Bringing the dehydrator outside because the hot peppers that are down here on the bottom, wow, it really starts smelling the house up. But hold on, let me unplug this. Okay, so we're a few hours in. Obviously, I know it's not done, but you can kind of see the bigger pieces. Still not super crunchy. Still a lot of liquid in them. Smaller pieces, still some liquid. You should be able to pick it up, and it just, and it's not there yet. So we're gonna keep it going. This will give you a little better idea. See the bigger pieces, still a little soft, but you can start seeing these are breaking apart. And what I'll do is I'll come along and move it around a little bit. Just kind of make sure everything's drying. And here's what the red peppers look like. Still too pliable. Not done. We're gonna put it all back together and plug it back in. Okay, this here is the green peppers. You can see it is, you want to keep going until there is no moisture left. So I like to try to find the biggest pieces. See, and it's pretty crunchy for the most part, but there's still a little bit that's, see how this is kind of bendy? Oh, you can't really, here it looks crunchy, but there's still some that's just a little bendy, so I'm gonna keep these going. This is the yellow banana peppers. You can see these are done. I don't know if you can catch it on camera, but if I crush it, it would just turn into a powder. So these here are done and ready to go. And here's Kenny's favorite, the red peppers. I don't know, could you hear the crunch? And it just crumbles. But there are still some that still has a little bit of moisture in it. So I'm gonna let these go for a little bit longer too. I'm gonna put this back on here. Plug it back in and let it keep cooking. Peppers, you can see they're done. Super brittle, all dried out. And last but not least, our red peppers. See how crumbly they are? Here's a tip: get you some parchment paper, wax paper, whatever you want to call it, and put it down, because every little teeny tiny piece is one of those slices, so you don't want to lose any of it. And then once you have that, just a clean jar. Just take the paper, put it in there. Okay, this is a good area where you can use your old lids because you don't need to have the seal. The seal's still good enough for the dehydration, but not good enough for like canned foods. But you can reuse them like this. So just put the seal on, and then every so often, I will leave this out for about 2 days, and every time I go by it, I usually leave it sit here right by the hallway, and every time I go by it, I just give it a good shake. You know, and about once a day or so, I'll just take the lid off, give it a wiggle, and give it shakes as I go by, and that's it. Make sure you mark it so you know what it is, because you're not going to know that is Hungarian wax peppers by the looks of it. So make sure you mark. Red pepper flakes, we're going to do just a little bit different because we're not trying to keep them like this. These I'm going to be using as seasoning. I'm just putting them in an old seasoned bottle, but it's not ground oregano anymore. Hopefully I can get these in there. Not losing them all. These will be rehydrated in whatever I'm cooking them in. So yeah, easy way to store a lot of food in a whole lot smaller spaces. Because if you think about it, the green peppers that I cut probably would have been at least 2 pints, a quart, maybe a quart and a pint, and they all fit there. So, yay me. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Be safe and God bless.